Alright guys, welcome. This meeting has been called to order at 12:05. Thank you for coming today to this SGA meeting. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and start moving on the agenda. If you don't have an agenda, there's some up front. And we're gonna go with approval of previous minutes. So we're gonna take a minute to go over our minutes from last week. If there's any changes that we need to make, you can make them after we revise it.
I do have an edit to the minutes. I was not here last meeting, and there's a long report under my name.
Oh, he reported for you.
No, because I didn't send in a report, so.
Oh, no, that should be my report.
Okay.
Oh.
It's just,
No, they
so we're gonna move that over. Vice President was chatty last week.
not here, Chatty.
Alright,
Present.
alright guys, yes, you
Can
stand up?
we edit under my report, just for the record, so we can have the photos in last place for the new updated time?
This is the time they gave last week.
Yes, but like, the time's changed, so I just want to be for the record, that they're like the right ones, so I don't want to be the previous. Because they got changed recently, like,
Sorry, you're getting the right time today.
yeah.
Any other changes? Y'all see? Ms. Whitney?
Mr. President, on the QEP, that's located under yours, really, on the volunteers, I know we volunteer, but I know we didn't ever specify the time each one was doing it. I know I'm doing it at 5:30 to 7. But did that really matter?
No, so how it went last week, I knew since we were gonna have a SJ meeting today, we weren't gonna make it, so I didn't count that one, so these are the names that, I got to be in the afternoon session from 5:30 to 7.
Okay.
Alright, do we need quorum?
Yeah, no,
Cool. So just a second ago, we didn't meet quorum, but now, Senator Terrence came in, so.
there you go. Well, 16.
Alright guys, we do not meet quorum, so is there a motion to approve this for next week?
You can't make a motion.
Yeah, you can't make a motion.
It's not quorum.
I mean, to table this?
Okay, we're gonna-
Okay, so we're gonna table this for next week, so hopefully next week we meet quorum. The approval of these week's minutes. That being said, we'll be moving on to our office reports. To our speaker's point, I'm sorry. Dr. Chappell is here today, our dean of students, and she would like to have, a word with us, so take it away, Dr. Chappell.
Thank you. Well, Eric, thank you so much for having me here today, and I appreciate the SGA and the work that you all are doing. But we're gonna have I'm gonna give a very direct, but pretty clear and concise request of my Student Government Association. Student Government Association is an extension of the Office of Student Affairs. And what I can tell you is that I am not at all pleased with the lack of business that needs to be conducted from our Student Government Association. Yes, there have been some victories. Yes, you all have, in many cases, been able to bring up some of the things that have concerned students. And some of those things have been addressed by administration. Some of those things are yet to be addressed by administration. Some of those things have yet to be brought forward just because, there have been several other things going on. But what I can tell you is that Student Government Association is an office or represents a large body. You all speak for 3,500 students. And my expectation of my student government association is that business be conducted in this space. And if that is not something that you want to be here to do, if that is not something that you can commit to doing, then I expect for you to come forward to somebody who is on student government, or go talk to Jennifer Skinner and tell her that you are not capable of meeting the expectations associated with your position on student government. I don't care if you're an executive officer or a student senator. If you cannot fulfill your duties, this is not the organization that you need to be a part of. Now, I have had conversations with a couple of people who have made some excellent points. First of all, there are going to be some changes with regard to Student Government Association. The first thing is, before Student Government Association convenes for the first time during the fall semester, anybody who chooses to hold a position within the student government, even as you all are getting ready to run, because I understand the elections are getting ready to come up soon, you need to be well aware and well trained as to your position within Student Government Association. If after you sit through that training, you determine it's not for you, all you need to do is simply have a conversation with Ms. Skinner and we move on. Whether that means a special election has to be had to make sure that we can fulfill that position with somebody who can meet those obligations, then we will do that. But what I will not have on Student Government Association from an executive officer or from any student senator is somebody who is lackadaisical, who is not intentional about their roles and responsibilities, who is unclear about their roles and responsibilities, who is here to have this as an item on their resume just to fill a spot. This is not somewhere where you can just hang your hat and your position collects dust. This is not what Student Government Association does. If there's anybody in here, after I finish talking, if you're in any way unclear about anything that I have to say, you can have a conversation with Jennifer Skinner, and if you feel like you can't fulfill those responsibilities, please turn in your resignation to Jennifer Skinner, and we will have a special election to fill your position. I don't care if it's executive position or a student senator. It makes no difference to me. The next thing is, when I talk about the business of this organization, my expectation is that we get the infrastructure cleared up. It appears that we have some major flaws in the infrastructure. So what we're going to do about that is we're going to take a deep dive look at the policies and the procedures. Bylaws will be reviewed before the semester is over with. Reviewed and approved, which means everybody in here is going to have homework. If you don't like it, go have a conversation with Ms. Jennifer Skinner. If you don't want to do it and you don't want to invest the time, submit your resignation. This is not the organization you need to be a part of. The next thing, with regard to that homework, you're going to be looking at other institutions, student government associations. If you need some examples, talk to people who work at UNT Dallas. We've all been at other institutions. Maybe you came from another institution that had a really great student government association. We're going to put the bylaws side by side, our bylaws and other institutions' bylaws, and we're going to get some great feedback out of that. But what you cannot do is show up to this meeting. What you cannot do is participate on the policy committee, and there will be a policy committee. You may not serve on that policy committee unless you have every intention of doing the homework that is necessary to bring recommendations back to this larger body for there to be an, again, deep dive overall look of what our bylaws have right now that are of great substance, and areas where there may be gray areas that we need to fill in. but it is going to happen before the end of this semester. So again, if you don't want to invest the time, submit your resignation to Ms. Skinner. You do not need to be a part of this organization. I expect work out of this organization, not personal drama, not high school drama, not anything else that's going on. If you're not here to do business, this is not the organization for you. And this is serious business. You all give recommendations to administration. I'm just disappointed. I'm completely disappointed. But I'm disappointed but hopeful. I choose to have an attitude of gratitude about the great work that has already been done by Student Government Association. But I'm also very hopeful about the direction that Student Government Association can go should we choose to have a commitment to making things better. You don't have a commitment to making things better, this is not the organization you need to be a part of. Whether you're on the exec board or whether you're a senator, this is not the organization you need to be a part of. If that doesn't sit well with you, you may send an email, you may show up at Jennifer Skinner's office, and you may submit your resignation. No harm, no foul. Because as far as I'm concerned, the only business that is going to be conducted before the end of this semester is making sure that those bylaws are revisited, gone through thoroughly, reestablished, and everybody reviews and approves before the end of this semester. Is that in any way unclear? And it's gonna be hard work, y'all. I know it's gonna be hard work. I'm not finished yet, Mr. Marshall, but I sure will take your question. I expect commitment to it. It's not gonna be fun, it's gonna be pretty. It's like a labor of love. But if you don't wanna do it, this is not where you wanna be. Okay, and then the last thing that I'll say, and this is very serious. All of it has been very serious, but this is very serious. Luke Donahue is in the room, and he represents the Office of Community Standards. And I don't care if you're a student senator, if you're just a student who's a part of another organization, if you're a student who's not in an organization at all, if you're an executive officer who sits at the front, who's supposed to be model for everybody else who's on Student Government Association. Let me tell you something. If you are found to be in violation of the Student Code of Conduct at the University of North Texas at Dallas, I don't care what position you hold, I don't care if you're friends with the Pope, you will be held to that standard. For those of you who think that you can escape the Student Code of Conduct because you may have an affiliation or association with some office or a staff member, you are sadly mistaken. I know for a fact that there have been things posted on social media, that there are things been posted in your personal chats. It is disgusting. It's disgusting. I am ashamed of my Student Government Association for the things I've seen in those private chats. Your private chat is not private. Whether you know it or not, it is being shared by people you probably don't, by somebody you probably wouldn't even expect. But you can't get your business done. This is a business organization. We can't get business done for all the personal drama. If you are somebody who cannot leave their personal drama outside of Student Government Association, this is not the organization for you. And if that doesn't sit well with you, you can see Ms. Jennifer Skinner and submit your resignation. Is that in any way unclear? And just one more time so everybody understands, I don't care about your affiliations. You can have a great relationship with me, but if you violate the Student Code of Conduct, you will be held responsible. I don't care what you look like, who you're friends with, who you're not friends with, or whatever. Makes me no never mind. My loyalties lie to the personal safety, well-being of students here at this institution. All students, not one, not five, not SGA, all. Are there any questions about anything that I've said? Luke?
Yeah, I just want to say that there's been a number of claims of harassment, online bullying, a number of people attacking personally each other. Please know I'm looking into those, and if you have those examples, please submit them to me. And if you are one of the people that has been in that violation, please know you're probably looking at being removed from a number of different things here on the university's campus. It's a right to be part of a student organization, student group. It's a right to be part of SGA, and it's in my purview to remove you from that. And if this bullying and harassment continues from the level that I've seen, from the multiple people that I've seen, I'm just gonna draw a hard line right now because, as Dr. Chapel said, most of this is really high schooler. I have middle schoolers when I was a youth pastor that acted better than some of y'all are acting in here. The personal blasts on social media, the attacks, the insinuations, the roundabout calling people out, the whispers, the mean mugging people when they walk by, the giving cold shoulders, and all those different things over time have become harassing and has made SGA in a number of ways a hostile environment, and a number of you in here are responsible for that. And the Office of Student Community Standards will be drawing.
And let me just say, Luke, a number who are responsible, who are not just student senators, exec board. There are some folks in here included in that too. My responsibility, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, as far as I'm concerned, if it makes it to my desk, it is not good. It is not good. So all I'm going to say is, you know who you are. My responsibility is not to call you out by name, but you know who you are. And you know what you said. And you know what incapacity you said it. And you know how hurtful that you've been. If I did a strong poll in this room about the number of people who are hurt, whether that by somebody's actions or what somebody said, I don't even want to know how many people would raise their hand in this room. But I have a feeling it would be more than half the people in here. More than half.
And our job as student affairs professionals is to hold you accountable. You may not like us, and you don't have to like us, but you do have to respect people. That is all we're asking. The world we live in, there's a lot of people that are going to disagree with how you think and how you view the world. And that's okay. That's what the world's about. That's also what college is about, is to teach you on how to disagree respectfully. LaTerrence has said before, the debate process that we do in here, people are taking it personal. It's not personal, it's business. That part is the process, like that debate is the process. But it doesn't mean we have to be disrespectful. And that is what I've seen, and that is what Dr. Chappell and I are referring to. The level of disrespect that we've been seeing is unacceptable.
And let me say this, if you are gonna be a person who's gonna operate in this organization of major business for the institution and to represent the students, if you're gonna operate in a capacity of disrespect, this is not the organization you need to be a part of. Please see Ms. Jennifer Skinner and submit your resignation. I'm not playing anymore, y'all. This is serious. This has made it all the way to at the system level. That's how serious this is. The negative light that's been shown on Student Government Association is not okay. We need to rebuild, repair, restore, and move on to higher levels of success. That's what I expect out of my Student Government Association. Is that in any way unclear?
No, ma'am.
Perfect.
And that goes for your attitude in which you address things about student government to other students. You are a representative of student government at all times because this campus is a small town, meaning when you are a part of SGA and you are speaking on behalf of SGA, people look at you and say you are SGA. So when you are speaking negatively about it, if you are putting business out there that has not been confirmed, that we're still discussing, we're still debating, and it looks like you are trashing us, that counts. So you have to understand that this is a work in progress, this is a living, breathing organization, and it's going to have bumps. We are just gonna have to be respectful about those bumps.
Yeah. And like I said, we're gonna work on fixing the infrastructure.
Yeah, that we can fix.
Before this semester's over. And let me say this, it's not gonna all be fixed by the end of this semester, but it's gonna be a lot better than where it is right now. Now, for those of you who are back here in the fall, my expectation is that same work continues.
Yep.
The same, everything in the bylaws will not be there. There's gonna be some stuff that comes up, you're gonna have to readdress it. Making amendments. Executive board, when there are personal things that come into this space, I expect it to be shut down. We are here for business. Is that in any way unclear? Mr. Marshall, I'm so sorry, you had a question.
That's all right. I was just going to ask, can we include the senator contracts and also create an executive board contract that aligns up with that constitution and the bylaws that we're going to revamp as well.
Mr. Marshall, my suggestion is, if you have suggestions, bring it to the table.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, whatever needs to be fixed with the infrastructure is going to happen, starting with the bylaws.
Thank you.
If you don't like it, see Ms. Jennifer Skinner and submit your resignation. Any way unclear about my expectations or what's associated with the student code of conduct? I expect for business from student government. Business. Going forward. I don't want to hear anything else about drama. Nothing. It's already bad enough, y'all. It's already bad enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chapel. We have a lot of work to do, but for the meantime, we did bring our interim chief of police, Chris Shaw. There were some questions from last week regarding parking or regarding certain situations with the police. And he's here today. He's going to give you some quick updates, and if you have any questions, you can ask away after he gets done.
Thank you, President Solis. Like you said, I am Chris Shaw, Service Interim Chief of Police for the UNT Dallas Police Department. We are a 24/7, 365 full-service police department. We have now 12 police officers that work around the clock to aid in the support of the mission here of keeping you guys safe and secure and keeping the doors open here at UNT Dallas. I can tell you right now, we're probably on one of the safest campus here in the nation. Why? Because of our officer presence. We spend a lot of time making sure that officers are available or walking around the campus to mitigate any issues with someone looking for a potential place to commit crimes. And so that's something, to be proud of. You don't have to worry about when you come to class whether or not your car is going to be out there, whether or not it's going to, be wrecked or whatever the case may be, because of our presence here at UNT Dallas. I know President Solis asked me to come and talk about parking, speed bumps, and so forth. I can tell you right now, the speed bumps aren't going anywhere. That's not a Kershaw initiative, that's an administrative initiative for various reasons. One, I don't have to worry about calling one of you guys' parents saying, hey, your child is deceased because somebody ran them over in the crosswalk. I don't have to worry about you going outside and say, hey, my catalytic converter is gone because somebody picked this place as an opportunity to steal it. And so they're not going anywhere. It's going to slow you down, which it should be slowing you down. If you cyclone it, I got a quick fix for that as well. You won't be able to do it anymore. I'm just being straightforward with that. But just be mindful of that. If you have any questions about our security initiatives, if you notice on the first floor of both buildings, we've installed security cameras, and so we'll continue beefing up our infrastructure here. So yes, you are being watched and monitored. We can't hear what's going on, but we do see things. Why? Because we want to make sure that if something is happening, something suspicious is happening, we can interact and interdict those types of situations. Are there any questions for me? Go ahead, sir.
In yesterday's town hall meeting and in our last SGA meeting, I presented an idea is in regards to the parking passes for the resident students.
Okay.
As far as I understand, the resident students may buy their parking pass, park anywhere on campus, and that is.
That's not true.
Well, when I lived in the residence hall last semester, that's what I was told.
Okay.
Yesterday, he from the residence hall, he also said what he said. But even though that is the case, there are still residents parking in the general area, which clogs the parking and, takes up spots for the commuters. And oftentimes, just as today, I got here early, but still had to park far away from where I was gonna be, which is just this building. Because, there are some spots that are taken up by the residents, although their area is mostly empty.
Okay. All right, to answer your question, if you're a resident on campus and you reside in the res hall, you can only park in your assigned parking spaces, all right? You have to park in a resident parking spaces, which are located on the north end of Lot 1. If you're found in violation, which we're actively enforcing parking spaces, you will receive a citation, all right? Is that what you want?
Kind of, but as you did say that, or as mention that I've noticed that there have been like some resident cars parked in the same spot each day over and over, as if no one's coming to check at all.
Yeah, they're checking, they're enforcing, I promise you. You go to the window, you can see a stack of citations, probably about 3,000 to be exact. Okay. And with that being said, we also have a lot of people that don't have a parking permit. And so we're citing those individuals as well. It's not just the people that are resident,
That's true.
you know, so just making sure it's clear, all right? Cool. But we are enforcing them, all right? And we will hold the students accountable, not just students, visitors, faculty, staff, it doesn't matter, even the president. All right.
Brought up last semester and earlier part of this semester. We're asking for decals to be placed on each exit for students at nighttime to be able to know what number to call for personal escorts. In the past, people have come to me about safety concerns because they had to walk closer to the DART station for the cars late at night. And so we stated in this meeting that they should know the number, but it's better if we put on each exit around this campus the telephone number for them to actually call you guys.
That's a good idea. We also posted on the kiosk as well, the emergency phones, but yeah, we can most definitely look into that as well.
Thank you.
Yes, but it is, what's the number called dispatch if you need all? 3,000, okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 3,000, 972, I mean, we send so many emails, it's ridiculous. If you don't know any other number, you should know 3,000.
3,000?
You know, you're not reading your emails if you don't know the number, okay? Just being straightforward, I'm in black and white, there's no in between, all right? Shame on you if you do not know the number dispatch, all right?
They sent email.
Thank you for your time. All right, go ahead.
Somebody last, in one of the senator things, Eric, we talked about, people having to park so far in the back that they might
So
as
far?
well. Yeah, that they
Have you
might
been
as
all the
well.
content?
He's just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just wasn't discussed, but I know it was brought up that they pay for a parking pass. They have to park so far, they might as well just park in DART for free. And
And you know what, they have that right and liberty to park in DART if they so choose to do it. Just know that, hey, we're not responsible for making sure that your car is still there if you park at DART. We are responsible for the 100 spaces that we lease out from DART, all right? And we do active patrols there. But we tell everybody, if you need a courtesy escort, call the number. We give escorts day in and day out. So there's still no reason to complain about parking far where you could just call a number and get an escort.
how fast can an escort go?
Very good.
Well, yeah, you know, and if you have to wait, you have to
In two
wait.
buildings.
Why? It's a
Two buildings.
convenience, right?
Gotta find them.
Now, I will say this, you know, it helps if our students are advocates for us, that we get additional, monies for student workers, so that we can offer workers, courtesies and programming for our student body, so that we can hire more student workers. All right, but we do pretty good with the staffing levels that we do have. But if a student worker is not available, a police officer will most definitely do it.
Cool.
All right?
Well, we restored giving rides during rush hour times in the morning, also at nighttime on the carts for students.
Most definitely, if it's student, we still need those student workers to be able to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
How many do you need right now?
Probably 4, because the student workers are not only responsible for shuttling, they actually sell your parking permits, they answer the phones, they enforce parking, so they do a lot. All right, so we need additional staff just to accommodate that, but yeah, most definitely. Any other questions, concerns?
Student
Thank
workers
y'all.
for the police department to do escorts.
Thank you, Chief Song. Now we're gonna go with our third speaker's podium. I have Dr. Kimberly Rick and Ana Putupuntu.
I'm stepping in for Anna.
Okay.
So we bring you greetings from the TRIO office here on campus. We're new programs. Have any of you ever heard of TRIO programs? Good deal. So we're doing our job. We're getting out. We came just to inform you of some of the programs and initiatives that we have available for you all here on campus. For those of you who don't know, the TRIO programs are educational opportunity and access programs to assist with mobility, as education is a means to change your lives and your family's lives and therefore your community's lives. On campus here, we have the Upper Bound program that Ms. Stripling works with, and I work with the McNair the McNair Scholars Program. I'll tell you a little bit about McNair Scholars Program. We're actually, as I said, this is our first year for both Upper Bound and the McNair Scholars Program. The McNair Scholars Program is designed to support students that are interested in pursuing their advanced degrees. So if you have an interest in your master's, preferably your PhD, we'd love to help support you not only academically, but also with your support needs from home, the hurdles that you might need to negotiate and navigate to be successful in schools that are not necessarily academic, things that we don't actually have access to within our office. We have some other resources that we can align you with. Our idea is to help you be successful in whatever it is that your dream encompasses. To participate in the McNair Scholars Program, we're looking for first-generation college students, especially those who fit into the Department of Ed's guidelines about income requirements. We'll get into those at a later date. We're having also an interest meeting this evening. I'll give you the details on that before I sit down. And the program is not discipline specific. So whatever your discipline is, if you have an interest and a desire in pursuing an advanced degree, please link up with us. As well, we want you to pursue your studies across the globe. So we're not looking for you to stay here on UNT's campus. We want the world to see what UNT Dallas is doing, and the best way to do that is to export you to the world. So we want you to chase your dreams wherever they go, and we want to help you do that. As you'll find, TRIO is a family. Even those of us that are on campus here, we haven't been here long, but we bonded and created a family. And even as you matriculate through college and through the programs, TRIO stays connected as a family would. We want to share our experiences and our resources and our networks with one another to help make the next run for the person coming behind you a little bit easier, a little bit more successful. They can run a little bit further when they can pick up where you left off instead of having to start at the beginning. The biggest aspects of the McNair program are research. We find that whatever you do, the earlier you do it, the more you do it, the better you become at it. And pursuing an advanced degree, research is a cornerstone of that type of academic endeavor. So we look to pair you, or you pair with your faculty mentors here on campus. And you guys have a very unique campus setting that a lot of your professors are working with undergraduate students to do research. And in a lot of academic environments, that's not happening. So you all have something really unique going here. So some of you may already be doing research with your advisors. We can also assist with that. We can help you visit actual graduate programs, help you develop your resumes and your skill sets to be competitive for graduate programs. And the last thing I wanted to leave you with is we'll have an interest meeting this evening. Today it'll be in Dow 1, room 312, so we can really get into the specifics and questions and answers. Tomorrow we will have one at 12 noon in Dow 1, 244. I'll leave some flyers about the interest meetings as well as the programs, and we have our contact information there. So please feel free to reach out to us. We're here to serve the campus community, and we want to work with you all.
Turn it back to Michelle.
Awesome. Okay, so my name is Michelle Stripling, so I'm the program manager for Upward Bound. So we actually have 2 Upward Bound programs here on campus. I'm overseeing South Oak Cliff, Lancaster High School, and Seagoville High Schools. And then our other program is overseeing Sunset, Captain Gilliam, and Lincoln High Schools. So we're actually working with high school students, it'll be 9th through 12th grade, but right now we're recruiting 9th through 11th. It's similar to McNair, except with our program, we're working with students that are first generation, will be first generation college students, students that have a financial need, or students that have a high risk academic need. And so what that program does is provide them a support system. So academic support, emotional support, physical, social, all of those needs to be addressed in order for transformational impact in life, school, and leadership. So we're building their capacity for leadership, for advocacy. So not only do they become better advocates for themselves, but they become better advocates for their families and their communities surrounding them. And so with our program, so we have a summer residential component that we are and also Saturday sessions that it'll all be housed here on UNT Dallas's campus. So with that, we're bringing this opportunity to SGA and other student organizations to provide opportunities for a job. So if you're looking to work with that population, if you guys maybe have gone to some of those schools, maybe you're an alumni at one of those schools and you're looking for a way to give back to your community, or if you even have siblings that are looking for an opportunity in how to get to college, how do I do something different than what I've seen around me? And so this opportunity is to help not only provide that mentorship but also provide an opportunity for you all to get experience. Like, so if some of you guys are maybe in education, or if some of you guys are in public speaking, this is an opportunity to start working on a lot of those skills with students now. And so we're needing tutors, and we're also going to be looking for resident assistants for the summer. So our Saturday sessions actually begin this Saturday. So we are looking for tutors for 2 Saturdays a month. So that'll be the first and third Saturdays, of the month. And it'll be from 8:30 to 12 on those Saturdays. And then during the summer is actually a residential component. We're having 2 sessions, so it'll be 10 weeks total. So the RA position will look like you'll actually move into the dorm, so your room and board will be paid during that time, as well as you'll be also receiving a wage for staying with the students. Let me just finish, and then I'll take questions at the end. So the schedule will kind of look like during the summer, it'll be Sunday through Fridays. And so you'll stay in the dorms. You'll also be allowed, so the students won't be there on the weekends, but you'll be able to stay there. But during the work hours will be Sunday evenings through Friday afternoons. And you'll be working with students from all 6 of those different schools. We're looking, so not only for the tutors, but also the RAs. And then if you can do both, then we'll be looking at fulfilling both of those positions as well. You have a question?
Is that the CA position, the conference assistant, that's a combination of the R and the D?
No, it's different.
It's different?
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
different. Yes. Our RA position is actually not posted yet. Our tutoring position is currently posted, and our RA position will be getting posted soon. And so it should be under students, and I believe it's under, it'll say Upward Bound under it, but I believe it just says tutor right now.
But for the RA position, it's only for the summer months, that 10-week that you
Yes,
mentioned? Okay.
right. And so, but we're looking, if a student can also tutor, then we're also looking to hire them on now for the tutoring for the remainder of the school year. So our sessions will go from starting this Saturday through mid-May to finish out the academic school year, and then our summer session will start on June 11th.
What specific subjects, I apologize, but what specific subjects do you need the tutors for?
So we're looking for English, language arts, science, and math. And so if you have completed, if you're a freshman or a sophomore, if you've completed at least those 2 years, then that would qualify you, and you got I believe an A or B grade in those courses.
And let me just make a comment really quick about Dr. Riddick's presentation on McNair scholars. Whether you know it or not, many of you in the room probably fit the requirements associated with McNair, but in many cases for graduate school opportunities, McNair can get you a seat at the table probably faster than just being a regular student who's applying. So I would encourage, if you want to go down that road, explore the opportunity, please take advantage of it. I don't know if many of you know, but Dr. Lacey is a McNair scholar, has opened many doors for her. So take advantage of the opportunity.
It opens doors into other fellowship programs as well. A big part of what we do is trying to help you go to school without having to take out loans. We want you to be able to go to school and secure your education debt-free. And it's very powerful to graduate, especially at an advanced level, and not have to worry about debt.
Yeah.
And I also failed to mention, as well as fitting the first generation in the income requirements, you could also be a representative of a historically underrepresented ethnic population in PhD or advanced studies programs.
You said room 312, what time?
312 today at 4, and then tomorrow from 12. I'm gonna leave some flyers here so you'll be able to get them as well. Yeah.
We have some flyers in the student affairs office too. She dropped them off yesterday, so there's some there.
Yes, sir.
He was asking about the
I
contact.
have some here. I'm gonna leave because we don't want to take all your time, but we wanted to. And I also, if you already know that you may be interested, I can also leave some applications for the program as well.
I need
Take one.
Apply, y'all.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna
too young.
Excuse me, can I get one?
I know what I was gonna ask.
Perfect.
Does it also include JDs?
For the,
And then also, what about for non-traditional students as well? Okay.
oh,
Are there any other questions for,
for this one.
If you're under, if you're a graduate student, are you eligible for a PhD assistance? If you're a graduate student currently?
Oh, if you're already a graduate student, unfortunately, we can't support you through this program, but unofficially, we want to see as many of our students be successful as possible. So if you have some questions or you need some insight on ways to navigate, please feel free to stop by and see us.
Okay.
I just can't officially support you on our budget.
Unofficially.
She's unofficially not using money.
Right.
It's right.
It's two different classes.
Oh, it is?
Thank you. She said that, Mr. Contreras, he has sent her the link for our job posting, so she's gonna, distribute that out to you guys as well. And then I'll leave these flyers, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to, let us know. Thank you.
any other questions? Thank y'all so much for coming out. All right, so we're gonna start moving on, with officer reports, and we'll go ahead and start with mine. Under, senators, I would like to inform everyone, something with regard, all right, guys, I just want to tell you something with, that kind of aligns with what Dr. Chappell said, and I want to just add on just a bit before I hit this point. We are here to conduct business, yes, and I know Dr. Chappell said sometimes like it is drama, but sometimes like it's life that you cannot be in this organization because sometimes like you just can't do it. Like you have other priorities, other things that are impeding you from being in here. So I would like for you, every single one of y'all, to evaluate your position, see where you stand, moving on forward, because we had a senator that is not with us anymore. She evaluated herself and she said, "This is not for me anymore. I have, other things to do." So I'm informing you that Nakira Carter, she's not a senator anymore. So that's a vacant position that we're gonna have. So we're probably we have a couple of positions for senators that are coming up that we're probably gonna do special elections for the rest of the semester. So keep that in mind if you see other students, you can tell them about it whenever you're passing out your Jack Roars. And yeah, that way we can start doing business. With that being said, senators, there's some of y'all that are under presidential review. Remember, and I bring it up on my point because I want to remind y'all that before this semester ends, you do have to complete what was required of you in order for you to be in good standings, in order to apply for elections. With that being said, I'll move on to the next point. We have QEP today. QEP is something very important because today in the morning, our provost was there, and she was telling us how we're going to have individuals that are going to come to this university, that accredit this university, and they might ask you, "Hey, what's your QEP?" And you, as a student, must know that that our QEP is CRED, Career Readiness, Education. Yeah, there you go. So we must know that, but for that, that event is gonna happen today in the afternoon. If you have time, guys, please swing by. It's important for us to know that information. And I was only there for like 10-15 minutes, but since we had our SGA meeting, but please swing by. It'll be from 5:30 to 7 in the afternoon. And there were some senators that signed up, so if you want to go swing by and see if you can spread some hands and help out, that would be great as well. With that being said, we'll move on with our finance.
So I just wanted to inform you about the Presidential Jaguars event that's coming up next Wednesday. It's going to be kind of like a field day event. It's going to take place from 6 to 8 p.m. in the soccer field. And we'll have Nerf war, volleyball, a relay race, and we'll also have free food and drinks for everybody. It's open to all UNT Dallas students, so we encourage you all to participate if anybody is interested in going to that event. It's open to everybody. You're welcome to go. It'll be fun. We'll have prizes. That is all. Thank you.
Programming?
Hi guys. Today we will be having the fun photos and license plates with the QEP today from 5:30 to 7 and Founders Hall 138. Tomorrow we'll be having a twin day, so find your twin, match up, and try to be everyone else. So it's not a competition, but it's just nice for everyone to get really creative and try to be out there. We also have, if I'm correct, that we have the officer and senator applications open on Monday in March 26th. So if you guys want to go ahead and start applying for that, keep that open, ask questions, be aware of the positions. And then on that Tuesday the 27th, we have the sumo wrestling, which is going to be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the courtyard. And that is it.
I would like to say an email in regards to some of the events that she said. An email has been sent by our advisor Jennifer Skinner that has a timeline of the elections and when you need to apply and all that good stuff. So keep that on the lookout if you didn't catch those events. We're gonna go ahead and move on with our senators. So now we're doing it differently, and I know I told y'all last week how we're gonna do it. An email was sent out. There was a small glitch in there that I put Tuesday instead of Wednesdays, but it was understood, and I said that the meeting time will be that our Wednesdays I put on Tuesdays. But despite that mistake, your senator reports must be sent through email. 2 senators sent in the reports today. If you don't have your report through an email, it's not gonna count. And the reason is we need to have it on the agenda, so for the record and everything, moving on forward, that everything's there. Did you have something?
Yes, I have a question. Does it matter who we send it to? Does anyone on the executive board?
No, so on the email, did you get the email?
I did.
Okay, on the email, it gives you clear, concise instructions how to do it. You need to send it to SGA@UNT Dallas SGA. And then from there, we'll just put it on the agenda. If any motions y'all have, motions and reports, send them in, and then we'll just add them to the agenda. That way, if you have a motion, we can just see it on paper, and you don't have to bring it next week, or we just have it on paper. With that being said, Yomira, you're up.
Oh, you mean here? What she said, so you write it?
For elevators, I thought you were.
Oh, yeah, it was.
You want me to send an SGA to the SGA email and said that people were having issues with the elevators taking too long? So I don't know if it's just because we have an increase in population and whatever, but maybe check with facilities and see what that looks like. It's probably this building, because those elevators are crap. Those elevators are crap.
Awesome. Ms. Whitney.
I'm not sure if she's also referring to the elevators in the residence hall because they've been doing this long screeching sound, and I know that she's at the residence hall, so I'm not sure if she's also referring to that as well.
She didn't say.
Alright, we'll go ahead and add it to, any other questions? Ms. Whitney?
The criminal justice, I mentioned it last week about the criminal justice students wanting more classes on campus. I did also talk with a lot of seniors, and the seniors they have it to where they can only do online courses. Majority of them do work, but a majority of them also are here. So they're wanting to make sure that we have more classes available on campus if possible. The second point for the Wi-Fi issue, this has been a continuous issue that we've brought up in SGA several times, but they're having a lot of problems with that in Founders Hall. So when they're getting ready to submit their assignments and everything, it cuts them off. And they have to constantly re-sign in through JAGNet.
Do they have a specific location where this might be?
In Founders Hall, it's on the 3rd floor.
Okay, we'll send this. Ms. Whitney, moving on forward, I will send 2 emails out to corresponding individuals, which will be the provost and Kevin Rocha, and I'll CC you on those, and probably in the next week meeting, you can put under your report, and you could give us an update on that. Cool.
I think last semester it was addressed, and I think someone from IT said that it was better if they connected to the UNT connection. And, yeah, if it works for them.
Yeah, they tried both of them, but when they did, they said they were getting the intermittent issues on both sides.
All right, that being said, that's it for our reports. So, like I said, moving on forward, please send in your reports, into SGA Meeting, and there's a time for everything. Student speakers podium, at this time, if you're a student from the university and would like to speak on any matters, this is your time to shine, so just go ahead and, give us, your name and your information, a little about yourself and what you're bringing to the table.
I think Dr. Chapel pointed out most of the issues, but there's not many students here, so I just want y'all to inform students, that too, but inform students that they are able to speak and voice their concerns more, because we know we're getting a lot of controversy online on all these social medias. They're voicing their concerns on there instead of in this room. So yeah,
Thank you so much. And I know you're not officially part of SGA, but if we could be that person that read that message, to come over here, that'd be great. Yes, go for it.
No, go ahead, Brewster.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brewster. The concern I have is the status of the classes, how majority of the, I guess, 3,000 and 4,000 classes are in the evening versus being transparent with the AM. I understand that those classes are put that way to cater to those that have jobs that work in the morning. However, not all students work in the morning, and we come to school for classes. And we have families as well that we choose to do classes during the work hours in the normal daytime, so we can return and take care of our families. So we don't know, I would like to know the status on that, and if there's not a status, I want to put it back on the table to see if we can get some feedback for it.
Gotcha. Mr. Brewster, actually, that question was brought up, and I will, if you hold on a bit, something about amended questions, but I will do a follow-up to the provost, and probably I'll add her on to Ms. Whitney, and she can update you as well. I know the reason in the beginning was because block scheduling, and for freshmen, they wanted to have those courses in the morning, and then most of our students, they were like, I work during the day, but maybe we could have, I don't know, courses like at least one course, and one in the evening. But that's something that our pros would have to answer officially, so I would email her and then let people.
Okay, thank you.
You can feel free to reach out to her directly too.
Yeah.
Don't, great, bring it up to SGA too, but you can also always, send the provost an email. And that's one of the things they talked about in the town hall meeting yesterday too, is don't ever be afraid to just email the department too. Just to kind of hit multiple sources so that they're making sure that your message gets heard, so.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Any other students?
It'd probably be good to know, your free plan too. It'd probably be good to know this degree plan as well, submit that to the provost. Just cause I know certain degree plans are geared more towards the nighttime working individuals.
Go ahead.
Okay. Couple of these issues was brought up last semester. We never got a chance to kind of resolve them. The first one will be to have the student organization directories, including the student orientation binders. Last semester they were there. This semester when we came for the new student and transfer student orientations, I asked a couple of students to look through their binders and they didn't have that directory there.
What's the directory for?
Student organizations. Yeah, although it's posted online, it's good to have that listed in their binder as well. Also, today we were supposed to go over the appeals process and procedures. for student organizations. I see the finance chair has left, so I guess we're not gonna pass that, but we should, prior to establishing that, we should send some type of notifications to those student organizations and their presidents to kind of let them know there is a process that is underway and kind of give them a preliminary oversight of what is being proposed for that, as well as requesting a 2-week interview period for that committee as well, to give those organizations and their presidents some more time to actually interview for those funds instead of a short process. Okay. Also, to request more town halls with student organizations without a time limit, or if we do impose a time limit, possibly a 2-hour, and possibly maybe a Friday or a Saturday, if they would like to do that, to give them some time to actually address all issues instead of trying to run through the process and kind of limit time on that. Okay.
Now, I will say, it's because we're working, I know yesterday it was a bit rushed, or it felt a bit rushed, and, but working with the schedules, that's the main issue. But, moving on forward, I told them I was gonna submit a doodle link, to them to see what time they could do it, and probably, I would tell them probably they can consider a 2-hour window, and I'm sure that's something that's gonna.
Because I definitely think SGA should do a summit or some type of retreat with all student organizations and their presidents to kind of give them a little bit more of an avenue to kind of communicate their issues and also to kind of work on some team building as well.
We do that. Ignite is that. That's what the retreat is.
Unite?
Ignite.
Ignite.
It's the retreat that we do every year. It's open to all students. We encourage student presidents, student organizations, SGA, everybody to go.
Okay.
Last year we brought 78 students.
When do you do that?
In September.
September. Can we do that each semester?
We
Maybe
can't
an
afford
hour?
it. It costs about $22,000 to do it once. So we
It's
can't
cool,
afford
but
it.
it's, we do have space on the weekend, possibly a classroom to kind of invite them
Yeah,
for a
we
brush
do
up.
Ignite for a reason because of the retreat environment. It takes you away from this and it gives you a little bit a different environment. But we do it. We do that, and then we also do some other things in the spring too. So.
Definitely, as a student, I would like to request that from my student government association
they
to
go.
do that.
They're required actually. They expect more.
As the coordinator of activities and organizations, all the student orgs do report to me. There are student org president council meetings for them to attend, although some of them can't attend because they have class, get that. So there are some processes and procedures that I'm looking at in my office that's going to be reworked, and that's going to be announced to the student organizations tonight. They also do get weekly emails, but any student organization stuff that does happen, like Jaggers in, because I'm in control of that, please address it to me. My office is in Founders Hall, room 200A. Just the first one out there. Just stop at the front desk, make sure I'm not doing something important. But
Definitely. Since there's also a student government, I'm sorry.
Aside from the Ignite retreat, there's also the Leadership and Diversity Summit, of which most of organization presidents are also required to attend. If not, they're required to send a member a representation of that, and it's hosted by Marcus, so it's hosted by the Multicultural Leadership Program.
Okay, so Chris, to answer your question, well, for the dates, the leadership retreat that you were asking about is going to be September 21st through the 23rd, and also the leadership retreat is going to be the 28th and the 29th of September.
So basically, we're as a student, we're asking that these be held in both semesters and possibly on the weekend for students to be able to, and student organizations to be able to interact with SGA. Know that we have these programs, but there's a need for more communications with your student organizations and your students, because communicating with students on campus, a lot of them are not familiar with what SGA does, what interests SGA represents, and how SGA operates, which is going to lead to further things on the list.
Yeah, well, we're getting this new building back here, so we're gonna be doing a lot of different things and adding some things coming in the works and change some stuff around with student orgs and stuff like that, so. Yeah, a lot more space and we can do more stuff, so, you know, we're gonna give us a chance to visit that, you know, as we come along, so.
Thank you. Skipping, I'll leave that towards the SGA part. Last semester, one of the residents brought up the timing of the lights on the basketball courts because students would like to at least play basketball late at night to about 12 p.m. if possible. And we haven't had any type of resolution to that, so I was wondering, has there been any type of follow-up?
Yes. The lights stay on until about 12 in the morning, until 1 in the morning now. We fixed that issue.
Okay. Let that person know. Also, the student let me go back to the Res Hall. I would like to request that student government provide extra trash cans at the residence hall. I know that's not our department, but as advocates for the student body, I think that we should be able to purchase trash cans to help supply and help out that department with supplying extra trash cans, especially in the kitchen and the study areas in that building.
I can also answer that question. When we first moved in, we had a trash can in there, but then people throw trash in there and the whole kitchen stinks. So that's why they have a trash can outside by the kitchen. They have two trash cans outside the front, and they have a huge dumpster outside the back.
Okay. Make sure I visit that to make for sure and take pictures.
What was that? Senator Kevin? Gotta get that door fixed. Did you send it? There's a door leads that back trash can next to the kitchen that if you badge in, you can't get back in.
Okay.
So you gotta walk around. If you're
That's an easy fix.
No, we can fix that. Yeah, we can fix that, it's no big deal.
Alrighty, also, student organizations would like to request that their events be advertised on the UNT Dallas events website with all details posted and whatever flyers they submitted to student affairs, and also to have their flyers advertised on a television set. I know previous meetings we said we were still working on getting those.
Jared's the only one that has access to it, but we're working on that situation. Phoebe and I chatted about it. We're adding a piece to the reservation form. It's added, asking students if they wanted to advertise on the website, and so that way when the person that goes into the reservations, they do the reservation, then they add it to the website.
Okay.
So it just takes an extra step, so that's why we haven't been able to do it first. And we also had to get access to the website, and with it being revamped, we haven't been able to do that. So now our grad assistant has access and they can go in and do that.
Okay. How about the events that have been submitted earlier during the semester that haven't
We need to
passed?
submit a flyer and let us know that that's what you want on the screen.
Okay. Should they resubmit everything or?
Don't resubmit the form. Talk to me one-on-one about it, just so I don't waste time.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. And also, we requested that SGA meetings be broadcast on video on demand sites like on YouTube and IG. Have we found any type of solution to that to actually occur in the next meeting, if possible?
So your next meeting will be broadcasted. The track one came in, we used it yesterday, but the whole figuring out, I think.
We gotta work on IT.
Yeah, we'll work on it, I'll give it Dean since he was gonna be the rep, and next week's meeting will be broadcasted.
And also, did we come up with the online mechanism for night students to be able to get information, such as the financial reports, and also the minutes of these meetings, and events and also to give input? I know last semester we said we were going to get an email set up, sent out to the night school students to be able to give input back into SGA. So I was wondering if there's any follow-up for
Announcements
that.
have been sent out, and they get sent to the SGA email, and so far I haven't had any.
Also on that, with the whole revamping that we were about to go into with SGA, that's also part of the process of some of the things that we're trying to get under wraps.
Making sure they get-
Transparency between student government and students, and also the ease of communication between student government and students coming to the student government and stuff like that. So, which we're in a phase of restructuring, as you heard Dr. Chapman.
And that's including all minutes, budget and spending, for student fees and also SGA fees to the students?
We can't do the whole student fees, like that's a open record situation.
At least the part that
The
SGA.
financials as far as Jagger's Den can be posted,
How
and
about
we
the
can actually do
portion
that,
that
and
SGA
SGA
does?
can be posted as well, but we have
There
to
we go.
pull those reports, and they aren't like day to day, like literally they're 6 to 8 weeks behind, so
Mhm.
what you see now is not gonna be the same when it comes, like what you're seeing now is what we spent in like December, cause it just takes about 8 weeks for it to update.
And the, last thing on that, the students also would like the finance committee to, post their roster, their minutes and financial reports, which we just asked for, so, thank you.
Alright, any other students? Next thing, I know we have some people that are like, there's new, if you have any questions, concerns, I know that you kind of touched on it. SGA at UNT Dallas, just email your concern or something, and we'll catch them and we can address them in the email back. Cool. With that being said,
I'm sorry, I forgot one bullet point, on here. We would also like to, I as a student would like to request this one. That our senators, if they're not able to send in their reports by that deadline on Wednesday, that they still be able to address those issues. Because it's possible that they ran into a student in the hallway that probably needed to speak with them, and they didn't have time to type that up prior to the meeting. So we would still like our senators to have a voice, even though they haven't submitted a report by that deadline.
Right, it just won't be under the senator report, it'll just be under new business.
Okay.
They'll just have to bring it up. With that, that's it. Number 6? We're gonna keep on going. With old business, we did not meet quorum since we had some of the students leave, so we cannot do the appeals process, but, we're gonna move on with the updates. Yesterday, we were talking with our I actually got with the provost, and after we were talking about those things that, I'm not mistaken, there. The student came in and asked, and he asked about, the classes that are being offered during the midday. Well, those classes they're in the midday and somewhere at night. And basically, what she said, and this is what the provost says, as a student, your responsibility is to talk to your professor so your professor can go to the respective dean and request those classes. Cause she said basically we can offer those classes, but we need students we need students in those seats. So we need, a want for those classes so they can be done during the day. And it seems that a couple of students have requested it. So if you go to the respective professor and say, hey, can I have this next class, if it's criminal justice, whatever class, talk to the professor so they can get those classes for the next semester. It won't be this semester, but it'll be the next semester. IT issues, there were a couple of issues that were brought in last week. I think Isaiah brought in one about the printer. Those issues, for example, the Wi-Fi we can look into, but those issues that need to be resolved ASAP, like the printers, please go to the IT help desk and they can fix those. We shouldn't have to go to the head of the IT department so he can fix a printer, but he says that's why they have the IT help desk that we can run into. The sidewalk, yesterday, there was some clarity on the sidewalk, and I know there's people going there. Yeah, we're gonna build a sidewalk from the Res Hall to the university, and it was gonna take about, I'm thinking, 2 to 3 months to do, and it was gonna cost about $55,000 to do. With that being said, we're gonna have a new building coming in, so by the time we get the new building, have the sidewalk, that we're not gonna use this sidewalk, so it's just a waste of money, so we're just gonna have to hold tight real quick until that new building comes in. They're also, just for an update, April did say that in between the two buildings, they're gonna refix that whole structure. They're gonna refix, or they're gonna redo the whole courtyard area, so that's gonna come up. so keep that on the lookout. And, the resident parking was addressed by Chief of Police. With that being said, we're moving on to new business. I'm sorry, we're gonna go back to old business. New business. I'm sorry, it's because last week, Lieutenant, you put in a motion, but we do not meet quorum. So it was tabled for this week, but we're gonna have to table for next week, and I'll have it under the minutes under old business. Advice or comments?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of the election schedule. So announcements are going out. I just sent the announcement out this week, giving the schedule, so look for it in a UNT Dallas announcement email. And then I'll also be sending it out to all students via like their UNT Dallas emails. Because some people are saying that they don't get the announcements, which I don't really understand why, but that's an IT issue. So March 26th at 8 a.m. the application will be open. The links will be available on the SGA website, but they'll also be emailed directly to your email, your UNT Dallas email, because it's already set to go out. And you'll get reminders basically twice a week for the 2 weeks that it's open. The application closes at April 6th at 5 p.m. April 8th, so that's a Sunday. I promise you by Sunday at 8 p.m. I will make sure that everybody gets their approval as far as if they are eligible to run. If you have questions on whether or not you're eligible to run, come chat with me, because we have to look at cumulative GPA and all of that. Once you get your approval, you cannot start campaigning until that next day at 8 a.m., which is April 9th. So April 9th at 8 a.m. campaigning can begin. When you submit your application to run, and you can give this to anybody that's interested in running, that they have to submit flyers and posters that they are planning on using, because we have to approve those posters. There's a process for that, mainly because you do get a certain amount of posters for you to print as a candidate. Like, we will print that for you in our office, and flyers as well, but we also have to approve it to make sure that it's appropriate and that there's nothing on there that shouldn't be. So campaigning begins April 9th at 8 a.m. If you have questions about that, refer to the SGA bylaws for campaign policies and procedures. There are very strict policies, and we have had to disqualify people due to campaign violations, so make sure that you go through those rules and you really understand those. If you have questions, feel free to come talk to myself or Eric. The elections begin on April 16th, so during Spring Fling Week on Monday morning at 8 a.m., the first set of the link for your elections will go out. That link is individual to you, meaning that you only vote once, and it goes directly to your UNT Dallas email. If they, for some reason, are telling you they didn't get it, they need to look in their spam, because it literally goes by their UNT Dallas email. It's a query pulled from the system. It goes automatically to them. So that campaigning, it goes from April 8th all the way to the end of elections, which is the 20th. So April 16th to the 20th is when actually elections are happening. It's just a week. So you have 2 weeks to file, 2 weeks to campaign, and a week of that campaign is elections. So keep that in mind. Announcements will be made April 23rd. We'll send out an announcement campus-wide of who the winners are, and then we do passing of the gavel on May 2nd. Any questions about any of that?
Will you be sending out a screenshot of the results to the students?
Yeah, it'll be announced on April 23rd.
No, specifically a screenshot of the results.
No, they will be verified by SGA and by the Dean of Students office. Like, we'll actually look at it and verify that too. But it can't, like, it literally goes out through a system. It can't be tampered with. Like, it literally goes directly to people's emails. Any other questions about that?
All right, with that being said, thank you, Advisor. I just have 3 things. Dr. Chapel talked about it, committee. We need to get to work, guys. If you consider your schedules, consider your lives, consider your priorities. If you would like to be part of that committee to work with the Constitution and bylaws, so we can, like I said, it's a breathing document, so we can work and make it better. Consider yourself. I'll be taking up names of who would like to be in it next week, and we'll just put it on the agenda. Second to last thing, guys. Truth is, how SGA runs, it's not perfect. The way I run these meetings, it's not perfect. I'm not perfect. With that being said, if you have any suggestions how to run a meeting, how we can make it better, please come to me and talk to me about it. There's some things that I probably should do, but I am willing to take feedback on how to make this better, make this organization better. So please come to me or Jennifer, and we can work together moving on forward. With that being said, we're gonna try to liven up SGA. We haven't done our pledge in a while, and we actually have forgotten about this pledge, but it's still there. And we went through training. The people who have not gone through the training, just watch. But this is something that we hold close to our hearts, and we turn it around. We have a pledge. You don't have to do it, but for the people that would like to do it, I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 1:20. But I'm gonna do this pledge right after this. So if you would like to join, if you went through the training, you can stand up and do it with me. But the meeting has been officially ended at 1:20. All right, guys. From this day forward, I've made my choice. I will lead, not follow. I will create, not destroy. I will make a difference. I am a leader.